All right, I'm here with Ron Conway. Thanks for joining us in the sweltering heat.
Buddy.
It's good to see you. Excellent fireside chat this morning.
You bet.
So thanks for talking with us. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about early stage investing in this environment. You've obviously been a seed investor for over 2 decades. You've done some of the best investments in the industry. Is there anything different right now in the climate or the types of companies that you guys are looking at and that are catching your eye versus what you saw 20 years ago?
Well, 20 years ago, companies needed a lot more money just to get started because there was no open source software, so they had to go buy an Oracle database. There was dedicated hardware and database requirements. You know, now it's just a PC is all you need, and there's open source database software. So starting a company today, there's a lot fewer barriers to entry. But because there's fewer barriers to entry, the market's more competitive. There's even, because it's easier to start a company, there are more companies. But we think the opportunity in internet software, which is where SV Angel has its focus, that the opportunity is bigger than ever. The Andreessen Horowitz adage that software is eating the world really is true. You know, every year there's multiple sectors in the offline economy there where software is replacing that solution.
Yeah. And in light of that, in light of the lower cost of capital, or the lower capital requirements to get a company off the ground, does that mean that when you're looking at early stage investments, are you looking for companies that are a little bit more mature? Do they need to be a little bit more developed in order to justify raising outside capital?
Well, we love to see companies that have a prototype built already, and there's nothing like bootstrapping your company until the point that you have a demonstrable product. You don't have to have a lot of users, but having a prototype is a lot better than just having an idea. And there's many accelerators out there that will help you get to the prototype stage so you're really ready for funding.
The accelerators have made a big difference in the early stage environment because they've been able to help nurture companies along a little, a lot more easily and further along before they're eligible for outside capital. Are there certain accelerator programs that SV Angel partners with more aggressively or more often?
We happen to be pretty biased on the accelerator front. We think Y Combinator is by far the greatest leader. They've been doing it the longest. They have an excellent screening process, so once you get accepted, it's like getting into Stanford. You already have a high pedigree, and investors are going to be more interested in you if you've graduated from the Y Combinator program. So we highly recommend the accelerators, and if you can get into Y Combinator, you're in the Stanford of accelerators.
Yeah, a stamp of approval. And it also raises another question. When you look at these startup companies to invest in, there are different stamps of approval that you're looking for. One is perhaps that they graduated from Y Combinator. Another is that they have a product in market, an MVP or a prototype. What are some other factors that you look at when you're evaluating a company?
Well, we look at the experience of the founder, how many of the founding team is already assembled. You know, having that founding team built out is really, really important. So if you have the CTO and the business person and the marketing person on board already, that's pretty attractive, especially if they've all worked together before. So a lot of it is the team that's assembled already.
The team, and in specific, not just that there's a team there, but that they've worked together, that they've got experience, that they've been accomplished in whatever they've set their minds to previously.
Exactly. And what their background is, what their experience is. Can they recruit others into the company? Are they good communicators? Do they follow up? Because recruiting becomes the big requirement once these companies start getting built out.
Now, when you had mentioned before that these offline industries are getting replaced or reinvented by this inexpensive open source software being applied to their specific segments, are there industry segments that you see right now that are ripe for reinvention? Or
well, what we call is the on-demand services.
Yep.
It's like the convenience economy. That sector is brand new and starting to explode. With the Postmates and the Instacarts.
Yep.
We think it's early days for that entire sector. Personal finance is exploding. And then marketplaces of all kinds. And these are early stage. These are each going to be a multi-billion-dollar segment, in 3 years.
Yep.
So it's pretty staggering. Not to mention the sharing economy. Uber and Airbnb. That sector a little more mature, but still early days.
Yep. There's a big display here on virtual reality. Is that something that SV Angel is looking at? Are there any particular companies there that you guys have made investments in?
Virtual reality, we're in a couple of companies in the virtual reality space. We think it's a great space. We like to focus on the software aspects of it, but yes, it's going to be a huge space, and I hear that Zuck has a huge announcement coming up soon.
Is that right?
Yeah, where they're going to bring virtual reality to the masses.
Interesting.
Which I think is what the Oculus acquisition was all about.
Yeah, applying it to different functionality that we need on a daily basis. If somebody wanted to emulate your career, so I'm going to switch subjects a little bit. If somebody wanted to get into the early stage investing world, do you have any recommendations for them? Any words of advice?
I would find a mentor to work with, another angel investor who's done it before,
Yep.
and co-invest with that angel investor, and that's how you'll learn.
Yep.
My mentor was Don Valentine, who is one of the first VCs ever that encouraged me to angel invest. We went on some boards together. So go find somebody like that and partner with them. And then I partnered with Ben Rosen when he retired from Seven Rosen Venture Capital, and he just wanted to invest on his own. It would be find a mentor who's doing it and partner up.
Yep. Well, we have been fortunate enough to have Ron speaking with us today. Thanks for joining us and sharing in the heat.
It's a pleasure.